Hello, my name is Bambi Harris. I'm the author of nearly 40 novels. I'm here today to bring you another writing tip, which I hope will help you on your writing journey. My lady friend, my dog Willow, is here with me, although she's not sure about this couch. But today I wanted to talk about ditching repetitiveness. So there's a lot of ways to get rid of repetitiveness in your books, but if it gets too repetitive when someone's reading it, they're probably going to close the book and put it down. It's very hard to read. It's just like when something like a record is stuck. You can't sit there and hear it. You can't read it. It's a nuisance. It's distracting more than anything. So what you want to do, firstly, I mean, as I said, there's many ways, but I want to talk about sentences, and I want to talk about how to make them different and full of variety. So one of the ways is to talk about in the sentences, especially with dialogue, to get rid of the repetitive words. So for example, you don't want something that says, I walked through the door, John said. And how did you feel about that? She said. I felt good about it, he said. She said, that's nice, I'm glad to hear it. Well, I'm not sure if I really feel that way, he said. So as you can see, after a while, someone's going to go, well, that's just not literary genius. I can't, really latch onto that at all. The word said is in every single sentence, and that gets to be really just tiring to read and very unenjoyable. So you're going to want to just come to, you can look it up, or you can come up with different words, but you can come up with many different words just for said alone. So you might use like, I walked through the door, John stated. I couldn't believe you did that. She mourned, or she cried. You can say he scowled, or he spat, like I hate you, he spat. Or I can't believe this is happening, she sobbed. Not just words that mean said, but different words that kind of indicate it. Cried, or scowled, or moped, grumbled, yelled. You want to try and come up with that as much as possible. And you also don't want to do it every sentence where you actually say, unless you really need to. If there's only two people talking, you don't necessarily need to say he said and she said every sentence, because there's only two of them in the room. If you have some indication of when John spoke last, then it could be a while before you need to bring him up again. You'll say, John said, and then she did this, he did this, she did this, he did this. You don't have to write every single sentence he said. So also, that's the way of using words, so you lose repetitiveness. So you don't want to use said too much, or anything else. Don't use the same word at all if you can help it. Just come up with different ways. But another way is to break it up through action. So you might say something completely different, like I was here yesterday. He placed his hands through his hair, or he said as he walked across the room, or she bemoaned as she crouched down and looked under the table. So you can introduce actions instead of just sitting there, because if you just have dialogue and say he said, she scowled, he cried, that's one good way to break it up, but you also need them to do things. And so you can include that in the dialogue, and I recommend that you do, where you're saying, my dog was here yesterday, he said as he passed across the table and grabbed a fork from her. It's good to bring these sort of things into the book, because it makes you feel like you're there. So you can also introduce many things like all your six senses, and we'll talk about the six senses later. They're very important to include, or the five senses I should say. The six senses come up a lot in my books, but the five senses. So you do want to know, as a reader, you want the writer to bring you into the room, say the smell of cooking in the diner, or you know, the sound of the jukebox playing low in the background, or you know, someone sobbed as they fought in the corner. You know, all these little observations that the character might make, you can make so the reader understands what they're seeing, so they can see through their eyes, or they can experience it through their eyes or their feelings. You can say, well, let me just say that you can also introduce actions and words prior to speaking. So you can say, Joan reached out and touched his hand. The moment was tender and nothing was said. But eventually she finally looked into his eyes and said, I've been waiting for you to come. So that is a whole lot of action before she even spoke. You don't need to say she said, because you already introduced her speaking beforehand. So these are all ways, and that's another thing you might want to do. John, so you could do, my dog was here yesterday, John stated, as he leaned back into his chair. Joan looked at him and wasn't sure what to think of it. Finally, she crossed her arms. Well, I don't know if I believe you. So that was where we didn't use the word said, but we know that John spoke, and we introduced her doing an action beforehand. Willow's rising. Well, I'm nearly finished with my dialogue. So that's actually pretty much it for the day. I hope that helps. Please ask questions as you go. Hey, I use mouthwash. I hope you know that. But you ask questions anytime. I'll help as much as I can. I hope these writing tip videos at least spark some assistance for you. And please press the red subscribe button, and there's also a bell next to the subscribe button. It's a notification. That way you can be notified when I put out other videos. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Please click the like button, because that helps other people get to see my videos. And I'm sorry, Willow, I didn't mean to talk so much. And I hope you have a lovely day. Thanks for watching.